In this chapter, we're going to study two types of interest. One is called simple interest and the other is called compound interest. So we'll begin in 8.3 with simple interest. We will examine two formulas in this section, the simple interest formula and the simple interest future value formula. So the interest earned or paid on a simple interest investment or loan is given by I equals PRT. Now, let me explain the two views of simple interest here. If you have an investment, such as a savings account, then the simple interest is an amount of money that you earn. For example, when you deposit your money into a savings account at the bank, they are paying you a fee for depositing your money there. So you earn simple interest. However, if you take out a simple interest loan, then simple interest is the fee that you pay for that loan. The mathematics is the same with either perspective, either an amount that you earn from an investment or an amount that you pay on a loan. And that formula is I equals PRT, where I is the amount of interest either earned or paid, and that's going to be measured in dollars, like a fee. P is the principal, P-A-L, principal. That is an amount in dollars, and that is your initial deposit into that savings account, or it's the amount of money that you borrow in terms of a loan. R is the rate of interest, and it always must be in decimal form. And T represents time measured always in years. Okay, so if we're talking about a 6-month investment like we will on the next example, time would be 1/2 or 1/2 of a year. So keep in mind T is measured in years. So let's practice this very basic formula. Example 1, if you borrow $650 for 6 months at 4.5% interest, how much interest must be paid? So this is a simple interest loan. We're going to pay it back in one lump sum at the end of 6 months. So this is different from an installment loan where you pay it back in payments. It's different from an amortized loan such as a car or house where you're making regular payments. This is a simple interest loan. We're going to borrow $650. We're going to pay it back at the end of 6 months plus that 4.5% interest fee. So let's calculate how much we're going to pay in interest. So the principal is the amount that we borrow. That's going to be $650. The rate of interest is 4.5%, but we need to convert that to a decimal by moving the decimal 2 places to the left, so 0.045. And T is time, but we have to record it in years. So 6 months, 6 out of 12 months is going to be 1/2 of a year, right? If you have 8 months, for example, and you want to figure out how do I convert that to a year, you would do 8 months out of 12 months. Okay, 6 months you can very easily recognize that's a half a year. So if you want to write down 1/2 or 0.5, that is perfectly acceptable. Just wanted to write that down so that you are prepared to deal with another value in that spot. Okay, so let's calculate it. 650 times 0.045, and I'm just going to type this in, times 6 divided by 12, which, notice, I would get exactly the same thing if I typed in 1/2 or 0.54t. So we get 14.625. Now remember, we're dealing with a dollar amount of fee that we pay for this loan, so we need to round to the nearest hundredth, 2 decimal places, right? So 1463 would be the charge on this loan. This means at the end of 6 months, we're going to not only have to pay back the $650 that we borrowed, but in addition to that, another $14.63 as a fee for borrowing that amount of money. Let's look at a different perspective, considering a savings account as opposed to a loan. Example 2. You deposit $800 into a simple interest savings account. If the bank pays 6% interest, how much would you earn in 180 days? So we're trying to calculate the amount of simple interest that we're going to earn. The formula is I equals PRT. Now, the principal, that's the amount that we deposit one time initially into this savings account. So our principal is $800. The rate of interest is 6%. We need to move the decimal 2 places to the left as 0.06. Now, this is a very short-term investment, right? We're looking at 180 days for our time. Time has to be in years. Now, up here, since we had months, we took our total months out of 12 months per year to get the correct time value. So you might anticipate here, we're going to do 180 divided by 365. But that's not quite the case. We're actually going to divide by 360. This is called the banker's rule. We use 360 days per year. Okay, that way they don't have to pay you interest on holidays and stuff like that. Makes a very simple calculation. So how do you tell what your bank does? Let's say you go to your bank and you open a savings account. Well, you just have to read the fine print. Are they calculating it based on a 365-day year? Some banks will. Or are they using a 360-day year? So just read carefully and know the details for your account. Let's type this in. $800 times 6% interest. That's great interest, by the way. 180 out of 360 days. And the amount of interest that we earn is $24. So the mathematics that govern a simple interest loan versus a simple interest investment, it's the same formula, it's only the perspective that changes. Be careful and watch your time values. If it's given in terms of years, you can plug it right in. If it's given in terms of months, put the number of months divided by 12. For days, read carefully. If it's the banker's rule, put the number of days out of 360.